It's July 24th here in Seoul, and I'm Kim Dami. We begin with these stories making the headlines at this hour, starting with the mysterious overseas parcels turning up on doorsteps nationwide. Over 2,000 dubious parcels have been delivered since Thursday, apparently from China, sparking fears they could contain hazardous or poisonous material. South Korea's foreign ministry has asked China for their cooperation. The extreme monsoon rain that ravaged farms and killed livestock is hitting food prices directly, now triggering worries about further price hikes. The party of Cambodian Prime Minister Hun Sen has declared a landslide general election victory, but critics have called the vote a sham. The win on Sunday extends the Prime Minister's control to 39 years. Over 2,000 mysterious parcels have arrived in South Korea over the past week, which are suspected to have been sent from China. South Korea has asked Chinese authorities to cooperate on the matter. Lee Seung-jae starts us off.
According to the National Police Agency on Sunday, a total of 2,058 reports of suspicious parcels have been filed with the police as of 5 p.m. Sunday, amid concerns that the packages may contain hazardous materials. However, of the total, only 645 packages were collected by police for investigation, while the remaining packages were filed as mistaken reports. Reports of suspicious parcels began last Thursday, with police receiving a report of a suspicious international parcel sent from Taiwan to a home in the central city of Cheonan. While an X-ray was conducted on the package due to concerns that it contained unknown gas, no hazardous material was discovered. Some of the packages contained nothing other than cheap products like lip balm. Police say they're also looking into the possibility of a brushing scam, where sellers at online shopping platforms send unordered products to people after illegally acquiring personal information. Such scams are done in order to boost sales and manipulate sellers' ratings on online shopping sites. While most packages seem to be from Taiwan, Taipei's embassy in South Korea said it had found that parcels in question were originally sent from China and arrived in South Korea after a stopover in Taiwan. Seoul's foreign ministry has reached out to the Chinese foreign ministry, as well as relevant authorities and local governments, and requested a confirmation of the details regarding the suspicious packages. The Chinese authorities said they will fully cooperate with the South Korean officials on the matter. South Korean authorities are calling on everyone to look out for any suspicious parcels colored either yellow or black that have Changhua Post written on the package. Lee Seung-jae, Arirang News.
We've seen consumer prices rise, starting to ease a bit in South Korea, with an inflation figure within the 2% range in June. But will this trend continue amid natural disasters and global economic uncertainties? Our Lee Dae-hyun reports.
Consumer price rises in South Korea seem to be cooling, but there could be more price volatility amid the recent torrential rainfall. According to Statistics Korea, the consumer price index for daily necessities was up 2.3%, the smallest increase in 27 months. The index consists of 144 items often bought by consumers, reflecting how consumers actually feel inflation. However, despite a slowdown in the CPI for daily necessities, the prices of some agricultural goods are seeing a dramatic rise. Korea Agri-Fisheries and Food Trade Corporation said that vegetable prices have increased after crops were damaged by the recent flooding. As of last Friday, prices of green lettuce rose 398% compared to 4 weeks ago, while red lettuce jumped 343%. Prices of spinach, too, rose 214%. Now, August may see scorching heat, and in September, typhoons are typically expected, which means there could be more volatility in agricultural prices. But natural disasters are not the only concern here, as some global issues are expected to trigger further inflation. Russia pulled out of the Black Sea grain deal last Monday and attacked Odessa, one of the biggest port cities in Ukraine. This means an increase in global prices of crops is likely. In fact, the New York Times reported on Thursday that the price of wheat rose over 10% compared to that of Monday, when Russia had just announced the end of the grain deal. Oil prices are also seeing an upward trend due to economic uncertainties, with WTI closing at a little over $77 per barrel on Friday. This is an 11.4% increase over the past 4 weeks. The South Korean government, however, says that inflation is expected to continue slowing down despite the recent volatilities, adding that it will work to stabilize the prices of food and daily necessities. Finance Minister Chu Kyung-ho on Friday said it will focus on vegetable supplies and support a crop reseed amid heavy rain. He said a discount of up to 30% will be applied to some vegetables and chicken, and that the government will import 5 million hatching eggs to stabilize chicken supplies. The government also plans to minimize the increase in utility costs to ease the burden on consumers. Lee Dae-hyun, Arirang News.
The presence of a U.S. nuclear-capable submarine in South Korea is aimed at deterring threats not only from North Korea but also from China. This is according to U.S. House Foreign Affairs Committee Chair Michael McCaul when asked about the USS Kentucky, which had been docked in Busan last week. Speaking to ABC News on Sunday, McCaul pointed to the need for the projection of strength against threats by Pyongyang's missile launches, as well as from Beijing regarding Taiwan. He added that it is to remind the North of U.S. nuclear superiority while warning Chinese President Xi Jinping of consequences in case of any military attack. He also said the deployment of the Pacific Fleet could deter Pyongyang in the case of any conflict between Taiwan and China. The United Nations Command says it has made contact with the North Korean military after U.S. soldier Travis King defected to the north last week. According to the London-based Sunday Times on Saturday, the UNC's Deputy Commander Andrew Harrison said the command has reached the Korean People's Army via a military hotline. Harrison said Private King's exact whereabouts are still unknown at the moment, but stressed the communication with the North is still ongoing. He refrained from giving further details on the matter, but did say the primary topic of concern was the welfare of the U.S. soldier. This Thursday marks 70 years since the signing of the Korean Armistice Agreement that ended Korean War hostilities. This week, we take a look back on the past 70 years, as well as what the future holds. Today, we're joined by Lieutenant General retired Chun In-bum. Good morning.
Good morning.
So we are already over the halfway through 2023. How would you evaluate the situation here on the Korean Peninsula in terms of inter-Korean relations?
Well, in order to answer that question, I think we need to first think of how we started 2023. North Korea was explicitly against negotiations as long as South Korea and the United States' goal was denuclearization. The previous government was patient, and the result seems to be that it only spoiled the North Koreans. The present government is naturally more focused on deterrence and readiness. And now the North Koreans are using our readiness and deterrence actions as provocations. So right now, we're in a vicious cycle of name-calling and provocations from both sides that are claimed that is raising tensions on the Korean Peninsula.
Right, and not much positive progress on the inter-Korean relations. Now, this year, like I mentioned earlier, marks 70 years since an armistice was signed in order to end the Korean War hostilities. Now, how likely is it that the North will take the anniversary on Thursday as an opportunity to carry out more military provocations? I mean, from what form might such provocations take? More military launches or a military parade that everybody is concerned about?
Except for their normal activities, such as parades and missile launches, I don't think the North Koreans will conduct any kind of direct action. I believe this because North Koreans are descendants of guerrilla fighters. And in unconventional warfare, when you are in the weak, you do not attack. So they're waiting until they have the ultimate capability, which is to strike the United States with nuclear weapons. And until then, they will not use their final card.
Sure, maybe not so direct, but the North could take the advantage of that anniversary. Now, North Korea actually last week warned of using nuclear weapons as a response to the inaugural meeting of the Nuclear Consultative Group and also the U.S. nuclear submarine docking in Busan, USS Kentucky. Now, how likely is it that the North will actually use nuclear weapons?
So the danger of nuclear weapons is that it exists. So nobody can really say whether North Korea will not use it or use it, but it's very disturbing that they take the deployment of a submarine to friendly shores and ports as an act of provocation that warrants a nuclear response. So it just goes to show how belligerent their nuclear policies can turn. And it's a showcase or an example of what is to come. Once they are confident of their nuclear capability, that they can strike the United States, they will do more than just talk. They will, or simple tests. They will start to conduct provocations or brinkmanship to get us to the table under their terms. And that is when it will be very dangerous for us.
Sure. We don't know yet when they will actually go ahead with all the nuclear use. But the fact that we all know that it exists and the final call is up in the air can be disturbing and concerning at the moment, at the same time.
Yes.
Then what's your prospect on inter-Korean relations for the latter half of the year? I mean, will there be more major developments or a turning point, you would say?
Well, for sure, they're going to try to shoot another so-called satellite to increase their capability for ICBM capabilities. And I'm sure there's a good possibility of another nuclear test. But I'm more concerned about the subversive activities that North Korea is conducting within South Korean society. So with all of these coupled and cyber crime as well, which is financing all of this, I think the latter half of this year, we'll see more tensions building, and we need to be vigilant and make sure that nothing goes out of hand.
Right. It's not just launching missiles or warning of a nuclear weapons use. It's also those cyber attacks that have been very disturbing at the same time. Now, then that's why Seoul and Washington have been slapping sanctions on North Korean individuals or those firms that have been involved in securing those illegal funds for weapons development. And before we let you go, what do you think South Korea and the U.S. should take in terms of steps from refraining North Korea from developing more weapons programs?
Right now, I think the only course that we have is to strengthen the alliance and demonstrate the integrity of the alliance, and to make sure that our societies are prepared to for any kind of eventuality.
Sure, strengthening South Korea-U.S. alliance, and also that could be further extended to the cooperation, the trilateral cooperation between South Korea, the U.S., and Japan now.
Yes, trilateral cooperation is vital at this point, and I'm glad to see that this government is pursuing those courses.
All right, we appreciate your insight this morning. You have a good day.
Thank you.
South Korea's second moon mission following its lunar orbiter Danuri is a lunar lander that will be launched in 2032. Our Chung Eun-ju tells us more about next generation launch vehicles.
South Korea plans to launch 3 next-generation space launch vehicles from 2030. After 2 preliminary launches in 2030 and 2031, the country hopes to send a lunar lander to the moon's surface in 2032. The next-generation SLV will be more than 5 meters taller than the Nuri space rocket's 47.5 meters and also equipped with more powerful engines. Unlike Nuri, which has 4 75-ton engines in its first-stage booster, the new SLV will be equipped with 5 100-ton engines. Nuri's second stage also uses a single 75-ton engine, but the new rocket will be equipped with two 10-ton engines in its second stage. Based on a target altitude of 700 kilometers for its first launch, Nuri can carry a 1.9-ton satellite into Earth's orbit. The SLV's thrust-to-weight ratio is 3 times that of Nuri's maximum, enabling it to carry a payload of 1.8 tons into a lunar orbit, which is 380,000 kilometers away from Earth. The next-generation rocket also has improved engine efficiency by utilizing a different type of turbopump, which is used to inject fuel and oxidizer into a combustion chamber. Nuri emitted the gas used to run its turbopump as exhaust, but the next-generation launch vehicle recycles it through its engines.
Combustion occurs to operate the pump, but there's still the possibility for heat generation after that. It would be more advantageous in generating momentum to recover the remaining heat and send it to the combustion chamber again, rather than disposing of it.
The Ministry of Science and ICT plans to appoint a manager for the SLV project by next month. It also plans to select a private systems integration company to participate in the project from the initial stages of development in October. 정은주, Arirang News.
It's that time of the year again where people from all around the world gather in huge numbers in South Korea's Boryeong for the Mud Festival. Our Song Yujin takes us there.
Podium. Millions gather in summer at the city's Daecheon Beach for the now famous Mud Festival. The festival originally started small in 1998 as part of the city's efforts to promote its mud-related businesses like cosmetics. Boryeong sea mud is renowned for being rich in minerals that are great for the skin. But over the years, it's grown into one of the most well-known and cherished summer festivals in Korea, attracting more than 46 million people over the past 25 years. And it's back at full scale for the first time since 2019, before the pandemic.
This year, we extended the festival period from 10 days to 17 so that more people can stop by and enjoy our festival.
All of its regular attractions are back, like this giant mud pool where you can dance and have a mud fight.
So besides the giant mud pool, there are a lot of ways to enjoy the mud here, like this. But this is one of the many ways to do so.
One highlight this year is the newly added mud barbecue, where people hang onto a rotating pole, trying not to fall into the mud pool. Festival goers from near and far are brimming with excitement.
Our summer vacation just started and we found that the Podium Mud Festival starts today, so we headed over here. I'm so excited because there's tons of hands-on experiences to enjoy.
It was a great time. It's a lot of fun. We came here yesterday and we went on the beach and saw stuff there, and now we're doing the mud stuff, and then later on it'll be the music. It'll be a great time.
To make it enjoyable for all, the size of the family zone for kids has expanded, and for the first time, there's a mud pool for dogs. If you're into mud cosmetics, you can try out the mud massage. But all this becomes even better with some great music. EDM performances will be held 3 to 4 times a day, as well as K-pop and DJ concerts. This year's Boryeong Mud Festival will greet visitors until August 6th. Interpretation services are available in English, Chinese, and Japanese. So, if you're looking for some muddy fun this summer, Boryeong is the place to be. 송유진, Arirang News, Boryeong.
Good morning, I'm Matthew Ashley, and we now turn over to stories from around the world. We begin in Cambodia, where the party of sitting Prime Minister Hun Sen won what it called a landslide victory on Sunday in the country's general election. Now, the Cambodian People's Party election win was described by critics and human rights groups as the least fair in decades. This after the CPP's main opposition, the Candlelight Party, was disqualified from the election in May over a technicality. Other parties running were too small to pose a significant challenge. According to reports, opposition supporters were arrested for encouraging voters to spoil their ballots, which is a crime under a recently passed law. Now, the 70-year-old sitting Prime Minister has been in power for 38 years and plans to hand the reins over to his son sometime within the next few weeks. Turning over to Greece now, where thousands of tourists have been forced to evacuate parts of the island of Rhodes due to large wildfires. Greek authorities on Sunday called the operation its largest ever evacuation effort. According to the Greek government, over 19,000 people have had to move from affected areas since Saturday. No deaths or injuries have been reported so far, and many of the evacuees are taking shelter in hotels, schools, sports and conference centers in safe zones. Firefighters have been battling blazes fanned by winds on Rhodes since Tuesday. It comes as Greece battles a number of wildfires, including on the island of Corfu. Now, staying with climate-related news, rescuers are searching for 4 people, including 2 children who are missing amid heavy flooding in the Canadian province of Nova Scotia. The floods at the weekend came as 3 months of rain fell in a single day. Local officials say it's the most rain to hit the region in over 5 decades, with some parts seeing over 250 millimeters of rainfall in just 24 hours. The Nova Scotia State Premier said the flooding has caused unimaginable damage, washing away roads, weakening bridges, and swamping buildings. A state of emergency has been declared in the city of Halifax and 4 other areas. And finally, Twitter's iconic bird logo may be about to disappear. Twitter owner Elon Musk on Sunday made a series of tweets where he said that the social media platform will soon be rebranded with an X. One of the tweets said the change would happen within a day if a good enough logo was submitted. Another tweet showed the image of a flickering X. The billionaire also noted that the web domain x.com, which used to be an online bank co-founded by Musk, also now redirects to Twitter. Musk also made a Twitter poll asking for a vote on changing the site's color from blue to black. The changes come after Musk recently acknowledged that Twitter's advertising revenue is nearly half its previous level.
Good morning. It's a wet start to the new week for the south. Clouds are hanging around the Korean peninsula, and thick rain clouds are covering southern provinces, dropping heavy showers of 30 to 40 millimeters an hour along the coast of Jeollanam-do province. More rain clouds will move in from the southwest, with heavy rain warnings issued in Gwangju and Jeollado provinces. The rest of the south and Gyeongsang-Pukto province are under a heavy rain advisory. Concerns are rising as this band of rain will hammer down on the flood-hit areas. Jeollado provinces could see rain pounding down 70 millimeters an hour through the morning, possibly seeing up to 100 millimeters into Tuesday. Meanwhile, the capital area is forecast to see rain mainly on Tuesday. Afternoon highs will be hovering around 30 degrees Celsius this afternoon, going up 3 to 4 degrees higher in central regions, but similar to Sunday in the south. Well, that's Korea for you, and here's a look at the international weather conditions.
We thank you for watching New Day at Arirang. Stay safe wherever you are.